having it.
Nightmares.
I got a gun, I use it.
Nightmares. Haunted nightmares.
Wonder why my childhood friends wasn't sleeping over. I had to keep a toaster underneath the sofa. Give me a leaf to roll up, habitual smoker. Even smoking sometimes just to keep from smoking. Who that peeking in my window? Some heathen strolling. There be peace for no one if we keep this going. But heat the cold feet to see what you keep beside you. Most of y'all pussy behind the gun, the great equalizer.
What it do, my people? Yes, sir, it's BFA Flex coming to you with another episode of the Her Biz Boxing Podcast. And yes, don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe bell right now. Yes, we have a hot topic. And before I dive into this hot topic of boxing, because yes, sir, we're talking boxing, do not forget to go check out my long catalog of music. I do have new singles out right now. Watch Me Finago, Summertime Fine, Nightmares. Yes, go look up BFA FL to the E double. Yes, please do that for all my fans out there. But yes, we're talking boxing today, and I have a hot topic. The one and only Richardson Hitchins. Yes, he has the gift of gab, and he is talking his stuff in the media as he should. Talk your big mess, my boy. But yes, the topic at hand, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. But the topic at hand right now is, should Richardson Hitchins move up and fight the winner of Brian Norman Jr., who is the WBO champion at the welterweight division, versus the youngest undisputed king, Devin Haney? Give these fighters an applause, please. Now, I'm just gonna let you guys know, I'm big on Hitchins. No Diddy. Pause, as you new generations like to say. But yes, sir, I believe Richardson Hitchins is very talented. But the questions at hand are, is Hitchins talented and or skilled enough to face the caliber of fighters at welterweight like Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. right now and possibly win? So it's a lot of components to that question. So is he talented or skilled enough or adept enough? And is now the right time for him to fight these fighters? And could he possibly win? So once again, I'm high on Hitchins, y'all. Hitchins is very skilled as a boxer. He's a black American fighter. He has the gift of gab. He's from the school of Mayweather. I just like his style. I like his style. So, moving on. His skill level as a boxer is A. Let's say that. If we're giving it a grade, it's an A. In the sport of boxing, anything is possible. And I believe Haney versus Hitchins has the possibility and the probability to be like somewhat of a Loma versus Haney when early in his career when he defended his undisputed. So, on quotes, a high-speed chess match for as long as it lasts. Can you give me some on that, you guys? And I'm saying for as long as it lasts, because I do feel someone in this fight, we'll get into that later, will get stopped. Even though it'll be a competitive fight, I believe doghouse rules will come out and someone will be stopped in this fight. But yes, we'll get into that. So it has the possibility and the probability to be a high-speed chess match, somewhat like we've seen in the Loma versus Haney fight. So, for as long as it lasts, as I said, someone will be getting stopped in that fight, I think. Even though both fighters are carrying a narrative with them that they lack power, and people always use that comparative analysis when it comes to, okay, their punching power and then the number of knockouts. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't believe the number of knockouts you possess correlates with your punching power directly. All right? So that's me saying that. If you guys agree, please give me an applause. So back to the question. Does Hitchins have a chance to possibly win? Oh, like I told you guys, I'm high on my guy Richardson Hitchins. So Richardson Hitchins definitely has a chance to win against a Brian Norman Jr. or Devin Haney. So you gotta understand, these guys fight similar in styles. Devin Haney and Richardson Hitchins. I'll get into that more later. And against Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney could literally render my guy Richardson Hitchins the exact, and the world, the whole universe, everyone's watching, the formula to beat a guy and fighter of the style of a Brian Norman Jr. Can I get an applause for that one? Only if you agree. You guys gotta understand, these guys fight pretty similar, but they do have some differences, and I'll divulge on that as we talk more in this conversation. So next question. Wait, did I answer the first question fully? I don't believe I did. I apologize. So just to flat out be honest, right now, if they fought, I believe Richardson Hitchins loses to Devin Haney. Right now, I believe he loses to Devin Haney. And right now, I believe he still beats a guy like Brian Norman Jr. Maybe 50-50, more so 50-50 with Brian Norman Jr. And I'll get into that later, why I think that. Because I don't believe Richardson Hitchins has been tested to that level of power and aggression from a Black American fighter that he's going to receive in a fight like against a Brian Norman Jr. So, yes, I believe he loses to Devin Haney, and it's a 50-50 fight against Brian Norman Jr. right now. I would love to see, this fight, this is why this fight is so big with Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney. Not only is it a title fight, but it will answer a lot of questions when it comes to these guys as fighters' future and who you can match them with. And it's going to answer questions for themselves, because once again, boxing is life. You live and you learn. Every time you get in that ring, you learn. Whether you win or lose. I believe you learn more from losses, but if you're a winner and you win a tough fight, you can learn a lot from a tough fight. And I believe Devin Haney has been in those. But we'll get into that. So does Richardson Hitchins, deserve the fight right now? And I'm talking right after this fight, this big fight, Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney, with whom the winner will be a champion, still and new. So we have to understand that. Is he deserving of a title fight next in a bigger weight division against, you got to say, after this fight, Brian Norman Jr. will have reached some stardom of fighters at this marketable level. And we're talking about marketable as far as names. So we'll get into that later. So does he deserve this fight now? We're going to get into Richardson Hitchins' notable wins. Can we do that, you guys? Can we do that? Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 notable wins. We've got Gustavo's Lemos. We've got Leon Paro. And we got George Kambosos Jr. So Gustavo's Lemos, I believe he was undefeated when Richardson Hitchins fought him. And we were all saying this was his first test. Can we agree to that? Can we agree to that? Okay. He was a pressure fighter, maybe Argentinian. So yeah, shout out Argentina. They do create some great fighters, but he ran into an American black fighter of the caliber of a Richardson Hitchins. And Richardson Hitchins outboxed him for the most part. And this is against a pressure fighter. So, Lemos. What happened to Lemos after that loss against Richardson Hitchins? Keyshawn Davis, the businessman. Shout out Keyshawn Davis. Can't wait to see him back. I'm a fan. Good job, my guy. You're doing your thing, man. Get everything together, man. You'll be back. But yes, Keyshawn Davis, the businessman, destroyed Gustavo's Lemos in a 2-round execution. So I'm going to say the caveat in that win and that execution, because he's not going to come back from that in his career. I honestly can tell you that now. He lost the fight already pretty much on the scale. He came in over 5 pounds heavier than the limit. So we have to bring that up when it comes to comparing these two fighters' wins against Gustavo's Lemos. And I'm not blind to that. But moving on, we have Leon Paro as his second notable win. Good fighter. I believe he was a sparring partner with the likes of Lomachenko, Mr. Lomachenko. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. This is what the comments are for. But what made him that fight against Richardson Hitchins was the fact he became a champion by beating the so-called boogeyman in Subriel Matias, who has a big fight coming up against Dalton Smith. I will be tuned in because that's a dangerous fight for both fighters. Great fight. Hope it's competitive. But what did I see before Richardson Hitchins or after Richardson Hitchins beat Leon Paro and decided to start calling out none other than Devin Haney, the youngest undisputed champ, soon to be champ at 147, has adopted the moniker Debo Dev. Let's give him some love. For sure. So what did I see with Leon Paro? After that call out against Devin Haney, you know what happened? Devin Haney uploads a sparring session of him, can I say, deboing, bullying, manhandling, what you got on my 40 to Leon Paro. So that kind of watered down the win and the call out, I would say, against him from Richardson Hitchins. Even though I'm still telling you guys that's a good fight. It's a good fight to make, Devin Haney versus Richardson Hitchins. Richardson Hitchins versus anyone is a tough out. I'm just going to say that right now, man, because I'm not making this video to downplay his talent and his skill because, like I told you from the inception of this video, I'm high on my guy, Richardson Hitchins. And my boxing insiders and fellow boxers that I do speak with, they definitely are high on Richardson Hitchins as well. So I know my eyes, educated eyes, are not deceiving me. So moving on to George, I'm just putting things in perspective for everyone. I'm not hating on anyone because all these guys are good fighters. You're at the elite level. And when you're fighting elite guys, sometimes margins can be very small. And we have to understand that in any sport. But we're talking about boxing right now, ladies and gentlemen. But all I'm saying leading up to now is we got to understand Richardson's Hitchins' notable wins are nothing compared to the likeness of a Devin Haney. Can I get some, everyone? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to be getting talked about when these guys do fight. Because he's doing the right thing, Richardson Hitchins. He's putting his name with the right people and aligning the right fights. This is business, man, and he has the gift of gab. Best believe that's why we say these fighters hold their own cards for the most part. And when you're talking about a brand or a business, technically you do when it comes to marketing and promoting yourself. So I like what he's doing. Everyone, I like what he's doing. Let's give him some love. So moving on, everyone. We have George Kambosos Jr., who, when Richardson Hitchins fought George Kambosos Jr., he had already incurred 3 losses, one by TKO to Lomachenko, and 2 in his hometown, embarrassing losses to none other than Devin Haney. Can you agree with that? So usually, especially at this level, usually when you're stopped, and I've already expressed this in other videos when talking about other fighters and fights, usually when you're stopped, that takes a lot out of you as far as your career and the longevity of it. Not only that, the mistakes that are hard to break that people can capitalize on, they usually become exposed at a higher propensity or rate. So I'm just putting that out there before I let you know he was stopped again by Richardson Hitchins after he incurred these 3 losses. So I'm not watering down his loss. He did it. He did what he was supposed to, as they say. And then he did what he was supposed to by aligning himself with Devin Haney again, who is the cash cow right now around that division. We have to say that, one of them. Okay? So my conclusion when asking, does Richardson Hitchins deserve a fight with one of these fighters or the winner? Right now, no. I don't believe he does deserve a fight right off the rip next after his fight, whatever he has going on at the beginning of 2026. I don't believe he deserves the winner right off bat. I believe he has more smoke to conquer at 140 against some dogs and some names I'll get into later. The only way I'll accept him getting that fight next, because talent-wise and skill level, he definitely matches up. And this would be a great big money fight for him. I would not hate on him if he does get a fight like that. The question we have to ask, and we have to put some reasoning behind him even saying I'll move up, because once he moves up, he's not going to move back down. He's 5'10", arguably, because him and Devin Haney look a lot alike with their height. There wasn't much difference, if any, when I see them together. And they got Devin Haney listed at what, 5'8.5", maybe? 5'9". He might even be 5'8", but I believe it's 5'8.5". But still, height doesn't win fights. But the question we have to ask Richardson Hitchins and his team, or be asking ourselves behind the reasoning of him even wanting that fight and calling for a 147 title offer. Can Richardson Hitchins still make weight at 140 healthy? Healthy weight at 140 and not be weight drained? That is the question. So moving on. The reason I say no as well to him getting that fight is, what has he actually proven against real deal punchers in his weight class or classes? Because I believe he started at lightweight as well. What has he proven against those real deal punchers in those weight classes, and to add, that can box, and they have to have notable names? So they have to be reputable names. So we're talking about, I'm talking about 4 guys I'm going to name. And they all happen to have some level of aggression and power that I believe may be, it's yet to see, but we have to have that question answered in some fights, which may be the kryptonite to a lot of boxers, like the Devin Haneys and the Richardson Hitchins. So we're talking about Subriel Matias, who has a fight lined up, so I understand why he's not being called out necessarily by Richardson Hitchins or often. But we got to understand that the main name in Richardson Hitchins' mouth is Devin Haney, and it raises my eyebrows a little because I'm like, wow, is there something I don't know behind the scenes that has happened? Has he gotten over on Debo Dev in sparring? Or does he see something? Or does he just want to prove himself? That could all be at hand right now, mentally for him. But I would like to know. I really would. So moving on, not only Subriel Matias at 140, we have Gary Antoine Russell, who is part of a renowned boxing family. The Russells, shot them out, everyone. Yes, sir. I did an episode about his brother, Gary Russell's comeback and his knockout over Casaneda or something like that. I don't want to screw his name up, but just go look it up. So give him a shout out as well. But Gary Antoine Russell next, who arguably his first loss, he was a knockout artist. I believe he was almost like 100% knockout rate, just like Virgil Ortiz was at that time. And there was one other fighter, gosh, Lee, do not get me to saying the wrong, Artur Beterbiev or Beterbiev, however you want to pronounce his name. Great fighter, one of my favorites as well. But he was almost 100% or something like that knockout rate, and they're fighting fighters, good fighters, doing this to him. So we have to put some respect on those 3 guys' names. So Puello, he fights Puello, Alberto Puello, I believe his name was, for maybe a vacant title, but whatever it was a title shot, and it was for a title. This is what won Puello his first title, against a killer like Gary Antoine Russell. And Puello is a boxer, a quintessential boxer, for lack of a better word, that we're used to seeing, kind of like a Devin Haney or a Richardson Hitchins. Do not get me wrong. I believe Devin Haney and Richardson Hitchins are way more talented and athletic, maybe. and dynamic than a guy like or fighter like Alberto Puello. But Puello is a good fighter and he was a champion. So they scheduled the rematch because the first fight was so close. And I'm not going to say controversial. You always say controversial based on what you're looking for. So I'm not going to say controversial because if you were looking for who controlled the ring generalship and who landed the most effective punches, we will have to give it to someone like Puello. He really controlled the distance on that. So guess what great fighters do? They go back to the drawing board. They do film. They watch, they see. And they're not bullheaded enough to say, oh, I didn't make any mistakes. They correct and rectify their mistakes that they're seeing. So what did we see in the next fight, which was a title defense for Puello? What did we see in the next fight against Gary Antoine Russell? We seen him dominate Puello. So we're not going to say he's just a knockout artist. We're not going to say, oh, he's just coming in with power, because that's not the case at all. Can we get a hand for my guy, Gary Antoine Russell? So he's shown not only does he have bricks for hands, he has a high boxing IQ as well. So, as well as Matias, this is the thing. Your style, if you can exceptionally execute your style, that makes you a great fighter. You can't go in there trying to perform outside of your means or outside of your athletic level or fitness level, things that you have not necessarily honed in your repertoire. So moving on, just so you guys, hey, give me a hand for that, you guys. For sure. So just moving on. The businessman, we already spoke on him earlier. He's at 140 right now. And you know, I'm gonna add one more guy after I talk about these next two. The businessman, Keyshawn Davis, who is proven at 135, he's a monster and a force to be reckoned with. We've already said he was going to be moving up to 140. Now is the time. And guess what? We're not hearing you call his name out as much as you call Devin Haney's name out. Can I get some? And honestly, I think it's hilarious. But it's also a tall tale sign that maybe you see something in Devin Haney that is exposable rather than what you see in those prior three or latter three fighters that I just spoke about. Subriel Matias, Gary Antoine Russell, and Keyshawn, the businessman, Davis. That's what it is. And I like to add, I like you guys to go look up the sparring footage of Keyshawn Davis versus Richardson Hitchins. And you guys tell me how competitive that was, and if my guy Richardson Hitchins would be able to stand in that type of fire with that type of dog. He has the boxing acumen that he needs to beat any fighter. Does he have the chin? Does he have the meanness, the dog? Because once distance is broke, can you become an inside fighter? Can you become a rough fighter who wants it more? And that's where I think he might get exposed by some of these guys, including Devin Haney. Let me know what you guys think. So moving on, Teofimo Lopez, who has a potential super fight set up with that guy, Shakur Stevenson, both great fighters, everyone. Give them an applause. Yes, so I do hear him trying to align his name with Tio as well. And this is the reason why we have to justify Richardson Hitchins and the way he moves as far as marketing himself. He's not. These are dangerous fights, the latter three. But they're arguably on the same wave or level as him, value-wise or fame-wise, as famous, however you want to put it. The other two, T.O. and Devin's, their fan base is bigger, arguably, than a Richardson Hitchins. Probably just as skilled, even though I'm personally putting Devin just a level above those two. I see something in Devin that some of the world do not see, and that's okay. He still has a lot to prove, and I hope he does in the near future. So Teofimo Lopez, he is kind of calling him out, but he's locked up in a super fight with Shakur, and like he expressed, he's not going to keep calling out a guy. Shakur intercepted that fight for him. So I understand next best thing would be a Devin Haney or the winner of. And I don't mind moving up to welterweight to fight the winner of that fight, because guess what? I still have trouble at this age. I'm starting to have a little trouble fighting at 140, which is understandable. He's got to be like 28, 29. If I recollect, he was fighting around 140, 141, even in the amateurs. So it's time. It's right around that time for him to move up. His frame speaks it all. He's right around the same frame as Devin and Ryan Garcia. So he's calling out Ryan Garcia as well. So there's no curve in Richardson's dogs. In his dog. He's not a cur in the least bit, and we have to understand that. Give my guy an applause. So, has he proven himself? I don't believe he's proven himself against that caliber of fighters or that style right now. And I do believe Devin Haney has. So, I believe Hitchins has to go through the fire a little more. Maybe face some controversy in a difficult fight or a tough fight. And then we can compare him more so to Haney, who has already gone through that fire and those tough and difficult fights and controversy. Just to speak of a couple fights. The Lomachenko fight, who some, despite a unanimous decision, some still feel he lost that fight. That's controversy. It was still a tough and difficult fight as well. The Ryan Garcia fight with the whole PED debacle and the missing weight debacle to add on and supplement that. Controversy. Also, enduring 3 knockdowns. And the amount of damage, we've never seen Devin Haney damaged like that physically in a fight, even though he was in a tough fight with Lomachenko. So he has a lot to prove as well, but he's proven it at higher levels up to this point. This is the only reason I'm giving Devin Haney the edge in that fight if those two dogs lock up. You dig? So let me know what you guys think about that, man. Come on now. So we have those two fights for Haney, the Loma fight and the Garcia fight, to reflect on. We don't necessarily have those type of fights, not even one of them, for us to reflect on with Richardson Hitchins. And I feel he plays a safe game when it comes to fights, certain fighters especially that are dangerous. So, moving on to my next question. Is Richardson Hitchins, avoiding certain dangerous fights? Because I'm not hearing him call out Gary Antoine Russell, who does not have a fight lined up right now, who is at his weight division, who is a champion. I do hear him saying he'd like to unify, but I did not hear him call out any champions that are available. So the one champion that is available is Gary Antoine Russell, and I do not believe, personally, I believe he loses that fight. I believe either he loses that fight or it's so close we have to beg for another one. That's what I believe. And some may not agree, but that's just what I'm seeing. But that's something he could endure to prove himself to boxing fans, purists like myself and his peers, because he has a lot to prove to his peers as well. So just to add and reiterate, I am high on Hitchins. So I'm going to tell you like this. Even though outside looking in, someone can perceive his actions and the way he moves as, oh, he's avoiding these dangerous fights against people like I just said. And I just like to add, go check it out. Frank Martin, no one speaks about him now. They kind of threw him to the wayside, but Frank Martin just gave a call out to Richardson Hitchins, and that is a big fight. These are big fights that can be made for him, so he doesn't have to chase a Devin Haney, who would be giving him a gift, a present that would be based on what he wants to do in his career. Because has Richardson Hitchins earned that fight with Devin Haney? That would be a huge question that would be negotiated or asked at the time of negotiations. And to fight the caliber fighter of Devin Haney, we've already seen it with Shakur. You gotta pay me. I'm not gonna take that chance and that risk. And he's the A side, and you're gonna play me on money. So there's a lot of cards that we have to understand are going to be held by different sides in that matter. So give me some on that, y'all. So I'm big on my guy, man. He's a tough out for anyone. Hitchins is anyone in and around that weight division. But so I don't necessarily think he's avoiding those fighters or fights. I believe he's positioning himself to make the most money expeditiously with the less risk. So he's positioning himself to make the most money with the less risk. Understand that, you guys. Give me some now. And that's business. Any business owner, that's what you want to do. You want to cut out your overhead costs. Am I right or am I wrong, you guys? Come on now. Okay, so what he's doing, from my perspective, and you guys might not agree. Let me know in the comments if you agree. I think he's building possible future fights with cash cows in the sport of boxing. Let me know if you guys agree now. Come on now. Because for him to constantly call out T.O. and Devin Haney, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. Shakur Stevenson is his boy. And that's another reason why I'm a big Devin Haney fan. Devin Haney will fight his damn mom if she got in the ring. And I'm joking. A lot of us wouldn't fight our mom, but I'm just trying to put things in perspective of the type of dog I feel Devin Haney is. You dig what I'm saying? So, just to conclude, I feel like all the fighters I named in this video, a lot of the fighters out here in the boxing world, they'll fight anybody. They'll fight each other. They'll fight each other. You know what it is? Business. A lot of these fights are lost because everybody's trying to get their nose wet. Everybody's trying to get paid. They're not really looking out for the fans who want to see this fight and the boxers who are actually fighting. So we have to understand that's what matters. You promoters, managers, whatnot, you guys can take a back seat to getting the most money when it comes to pleasing these fans, because these boxers are trying to create their own legacy. And I appreciate that in the boxers, in this boxing industry. I see the transition of taking it out of the promoters and these managers' hands who are literally not looking out for their fighters, which is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. So that's how I'm going to conclude this video. I believe none of these fighters are scared of each other for the most part. It's all business, man. And at the end of the day, if the risk is higher, you got to pay me a higher reward. Do you dig what I'm saying? And it's okay not to want to lose your O. But also, they're looking out for their safety as well. If I know I'm about to go in here and put it all on the line, my life, against a dangerous fighter and lose my O, you got to pay me. So I understand with that. So, as always, you guys, thank you for your undying support. Please don't forget to hit that like button, comment, let me know what you think. Once again, it's BFA Flex with the Hurt Biz Boxing Podcast, always delivering exclusive boxing content. So don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And I'm going to drop a link just so if you would like to sponsor, because that's the only way we keep shows like this going and we always excel and get better. And we're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers. That's the first step. So I would definitely will need you guys' help. So I will drop a link, a Cash App link, and please hit that Cash App if you want to be a sponsor. And if you like this video, please hit that like button and let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm always looking for new ideas, and I'm always looking to converse with my fans in the comment sections of my posts. And I love seeing you guys interact with each other as well. So let me know what you guys think, and I holla.